welcome back to East Central. I had to send it their way for a minute. And now it's time for us to shine a spotlight on a unique blend of beauty, confidence, and purpose. Our guest today is Misturah Owolabi, the convener of Nigeria's first ever Albinism Advocacy Pageant. And she's using the power of pageantry to challenge stereotypes, promote inclusion, and celebrate the beauty in diversity. So you want to stay with us, sit back, enjoy, relax as we talk beauty and advocacy in albinism awareness. Hi, Misturah.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
I love your outfit. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
So we're just going to get straight into it, right? Some critics see pageants as superficial. How do you respond to that when your platform is built around advocacy?
Okay, so you know that when people hear pageants, they think of a certain look, a certain process, like women in bikini, beautiful women on stage, you know, wearing that sexy outfit, right? But then for us, we believe that pageantry can also be an advocacy tool. And by advocacy, what I mean is the runway, it's a platform for spotlighting people.
Right.
It means that when you think of the beauty conversations, the runway is the first thing that comes to mind. And so what we did with this pageant is to flip the script and use the very platforms that have excluded marginalized communities to advocate for them. So you don't expect to see them, you know, on a stage, on a runway, but we're flipping that and using that very, you know, platform as their advocacy tool to spotlight their talents and the beauty of their skin.
And some sort of way an advocacy for change as well.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So do you think that the fashion and beauty industry are ready to embrace true diversity, or are we still tokenizing, you know, these things, like maybe because of, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from.
Yes. So I think that for Nigeria is way behind. You know, when you look at the rest of the world, Europe, the US, you know, you see a lot of marginalized communities, people with albinism on the runway, fashion week, fashion show, major campaigns. But for Nigeria, you know, we're far behind. So I believe that with initiatives like this, events like this will help us push the conversation further and get more organizations, you know, involved in inclusivity. But in response to your question, I think we're way behind. But I believe that, you know, there's a future, there's hope that we can get back on track with the rest of the world when it comes to the conversations around inclusion and diversity.
Amazing. So you celebrated albinism through pageantry. Run us through that. How was that for you?
Okay, so first, we're a modeling agency and we represent unconventional talent. So beyond people with albinism, we also represent people with vitiligo, wheelchair models. But then we realized that in the course of our work, when we pitch these models to clients, to brands, they will tell you, oh, we can't use them. We only use them for CSR campaigns. And then we realized that it was because of some of the societal misconceptions that already exist. And so we thought to ourselves, what are the ways that we can, you know, correct this? How can we start conversations that will lead to changing these stereotypes? And that was why we decided to do the pageant. This is the first of its kind in Nigeria. And it's an opportunity for people to see women with albinism as talented women who are also, you know, beautiful, women that should be included in beauty conversations and should be seen as, you know, talents that can be used for major brand campaigns, major beauty campaigns. You don't have to wait for that CSR project or that, you know, performative, inclusive, you know, project. That was what we decided to do with the pageant.
So what role do you think fashion, talent, and advocacy messages play in actually raising awareness about albinism?
I think it plays a really big role because a lot of people with albinism do not see themselves on the big stages. They don't believe that they can attain certain heights. They don't believe that they even belong in the media. A lot of them have talent. They want to be actors. They want to be models. But with events like this, they get to see themselves on bigger platforms. And then they can aspire and say, oh, we also belong here. And that was why we actually did this. Because the Albinism Advocacy Queen, for example, is now going to be a community leader. She's going to inspire younger women, you know, reassure them that they also belong in beauty conversations. They can aspire and dream bigger than whatever realities society has conditioned them to believe is what they deserve.
Absolutely. So we know that there is a stigma with regards to albinism, right? But let me ask you this first off. What inspired you to create the Albinism Advocacy Pageant?
Okay, it was inspired by the fact that we realized there was a gap in the industry. You know, no pageant was including people with albinism. Even those that say, oh, we accept people with albinism, they can apply. But when you look at the processes involved, they are not inclusive enough. They do not give, let's say, models with albinism that enabling environment to actually participate and join in. And that was why we decided to do this, giving people with albinism their own platforms. And you know, when it comes to advocacy, when marginalized groups are excluded, you know, we don't wait for the world to give us a seat at the table. We create our own seats, and then the world will adjust. And so that was the inspiration, the need for us to include people with albinism in the conversations without waiting for the larger society to say, oh, come and join us. We're creating our own tables for them so that they can stand tall and be role models for their own communities as well.
Amazing. We definitely would continue this conversation maybe some other time because we're so pressed for time right now. But thank you so much for coming, Misturah. This was pretty insightful.
Thank you so much for having me.
We hope that when we call you next time, you'd oblige.
Definitely, I'm going to be here. Thank you.
All right, it's a wrap on East Central for today. Thank you so much for watching. New Music Friday is tomorrow, so you want to make it a date with us. Once again, my name is Kate Adiogun, and of course, you've been watching East Central. Bye.